The situation was even worse with the family scattered, and just when she barely managed to stabilize herself, what she saw in front of her was nothing short of the slaughter of hell. Similarly, Xizi Feng's beauty immediately attracted the attention of the Alliance cultivators, and some even began to pursue her directly. At this moment, Xizi Feng's heart was filled with anxiety as she gritted her silver teeth and sped away. However, the earlier shock had already damaged her mind, and with her hasty escape, her condition worsened further. The middle-aged man behind her sneered coldly. He raised his right hand, slapped his storage pouch, and immediately produced a golden needle in his hand. He hurled it forward with a sharp whistle, aiming straight at Xizi Feng. This female cultivator from Luotian will become my 9th furnace cauldron. Haha, I've never tasted a Luotian female cultivator before. This time, it won't be a wasted trip. The middle-aged man laughed loudly, his flying sword speeding up under his feet. As the golden needle rushed toward her, about to pierce Xizi Feng's back, she quickly turned around, her hands forming a seal. A glow immediately spread in front of her, attempting to block the golden needle. However, the power of the golden needle was too great. The moment it touched the glow, Xizi Feng immediately felt a violent impact, spitting blood from her delicate mouth as her body was forced backward. Her face turned pale, devoid of any color. The middle-aged man laughed loudly as he quickly closed in. Just as his right hand was about to grasp Xizi Feng, a chilling voice suddenly echoed all around. Step back. The two simple words, when they reached the middle-aged man's ears, felt like the simultaneous roar of 10,000 thunderclaps, reverberating with a deafening shock. The man's cultivation wasn't high, though stronger than Xizi Feng's, it wasn't by much. His body trembled as his ears rang, as if the world around him had been sealed off. All he could hear was the frantic beating of his own heart, thumping faster and faster. The voice that entered his ears was like a sharp sword, ruthlessly penetrating his body, seemingly carrying a destructive force that caused his face to turn pale and spurt blood from his mouth. In that instant, he was uncontrollably forced to retreat. Fear surged through his heart as it was submerged by endless terror. He clearly felt that his body was no longer under his control, as if, at that moment, an unrelenting will had entered his body through his ears, mercilessly controlling him to continue retreating. It was as though he had no choice but to obey this will, with no room for resistance. Otherwise, he would have no place to die. This sensation was something the middle-aged man had never experienced in his life. In his shock, he couldn't care about anything else. Though his body was retreating, he was powerless to resist. That will seemed to ripple through the rules under the starry sky, forcing him to retreat even further, spitting blood once again. Not just him, but the other cultivators around him who were chasing Xizi Feng also felt the same sensation in their hearts. That willpower prevented them from fighting back. It was as though a storm had erupted in front of Xizi Feng, sending everyone who approached her flying backward. During the retreat, a series of thuds rang out as cultivators' bodies couldn't withstand the arrival of this willpower, collapsing and dying instantly. A vast expanse of blood mist spread, but in the starry sky, it was almost insignificant. Even their primordial spirits couldn't escape the influence of this will. As their physical bodies crumbled, they were all obliterated. Their souls were forced out, drifting aimlessly, turning into streaks of dark light that merged into Wang Lin's body, sealed by the 18 layers of hell. This scene was so sudden that Xizi Feng froze for a moment. In an instant, her vision was completely occupied by the figure silently approaching her from the front. Wang Lin calmly watched the retreating cultivators. His earlier words contained the rules he had just realized, combined with the understanding of the principle that words become law, transforming into a force of will. The middle-aged man's eyes revealed shock and horror, his heart seemingly shouting. He was certain that the other person was a great being among the Luotian cultivators. However, this voice couldn't escape his mouth. As his body continued to retreat, a loud crash sounded as his body collapsed. A cultivator of this level was insignificant in front of Wang Lin. Just like how the rogue demon's cold snort in the land of demonic spirits had caused Wang Lin's body to collapse back then, Wang Lin had now reached the same level of power as that rogue demon. The middle-aged man's primordial spirit flew out, quickly dissolving. Just as he was about to die, a soft and feminine voice suddenly echoed in the void. To think, this is Luotian's genuine Thunder Immortal Sumu. The moment the voice sounded, a figure appeared in the distance of the starry sky. Dressed in blue robes, this middle-aged man appeared, with a face tinged with earthy yellow. Behind him, black illusory shadows spread like a long cloak across the stars. This person was none other than the six-fingered cultivator. His voice merged into the void, and the middle-aged man's primordial spirit immediately broke free from Wang Lin's will with the help of an external force. The collapse ceased, and the spirit quickly surged out, though half of it had already disintegrated, leaving it extremely weak, as if it could collapse at any moment. With a terrified expression, the middle-aged man's primordial spirit immediately attempted to flee. Wang Lin's expression remained calm as he casually waved his right hand. A violent gust of wind erupted in front of him, quickly condensing into countless severing luo arts, which merged into one and screamed towards the fleeing primordial spirit. The six-fingered cultivator smiled strangely, his right hand pointing, causing the countless shadows behind him, like a cloak, to divide. A portion of them shot towards Wang Lin's severing luo arts. The two engaged in a life-and-death battle, determined by the fate of their primordial spirits. The severing luo arts collided violently with the countless shadows next to the primordial spirit, creating an earth-shattering roar. After Wang Lin gained a moment of understanding about the rules, the power of the severing luo arts had increased exponentially. Before, Wang Lin had been using the technique unconsciously, not fully understanding the rules, so its full power had not been unleashed. But now, it was completely different. The severing luo arts, capable of cutting through all rules, surged forward, and as the shadows touched it, they immediately exploded into nothingness with loud bursts, dissipating one by one. In the blink of an eye, all the shadows had vanished, and the severing luo arts continued on its path toward the primordial spirit. The six-fingered cultivator's expression shifted, and with a cold snort, he stepped forward. His right hand formed a seal, and the shadows behind him immediately condensed and contracted, fusing together in an instant to form a small black ball. An aura capable of shaking the very soul emanated from the small ball, and as it spread across the world, the ball flew out at high speed, heading straight for the severing luo arts. It seemed to pierce through the void, reaching the severing luo arts in the blink of an eye. Upon contact, the small ball self-destructed, transforming into countless black gases that enveloped the severing luo arts. The six-fingered cultivator laughed loudly, waving his right hand. A powerful force struck the bewildered primordial spirit, sending it rushing backward. Within moments, it was on the verge of vanishing at the edge of the starry sky. I, Soul Attendant Zhou Tian, will save this person. No one can kill them. Wang Lin spoke indifferently, not even sparing Zhou Tian a glance. He stepped forward, and immediately ripples appeared beneath his feet, merging into the void in an instant. This scene stunned Zhou Tian for a moment, but his pupils immediately constricted. In the distant starry sky, the primordial spirit, no longer confused, showed a gleam of joy as it retreated swiftly. As it did, Wang Lin calmly stepped forward, his right fist clenched. He punched the starry sky, causing a tremendous roar to echo, and the sky itself trembled with waves rippling outwards. Shatter! Wang Lin softly uttered, and the primordial spirit instantly trembled violently. There was no pause, as if it had turned to sand, dissipating in the wind. Zhou Tian's eyes flashed with a strange light, his gaze fixed on Wang Lin. His eyes glowed even more ominously. Raising his right hand, he pointed toward the distant, stunned Xizi Feng. Immediately, several shadows flew from behind him, heading straight for Xizi Feng. You want to save this woman? I won't let you succeed. Zhou Tian's eerie voice echoed, and the shadows quickly approached Xizi Feng. Xizi Feng's face turned pale, and she quickly retreated. Zhou Tian's eyes narrowed, and without hesitation, he too retreated. By Xizi Feng's side, ripples flashed as Wang Lin stepped forward, his fist striking out. The shadows immediately shattered. If you wish to kill her, I won't intervene. But not in front of me. Wang Lin spoke calmly. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he took a step forward, heading straight for Zhou Tian. Zhou Tian sneered coldly, his hands forming seals. He pointed to the void, and a large number of shadows manifested behind him, condensing into a massive black battle axe in front of him. Zhou Tian grabbed it and threw it with all his might. 10,000 souls devouring divinity. Zhou Tian shouted, and the battle axe hurtled toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin stepped forward, his right fist smashing out. A deafening sonic boom rang through the heavens and earth. The battle axe trembled and exploded, but it transformed into countless illusory figures, scattering in all directions, rapidly converging on Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged as he raised his right hand, pointing to the sky. Thunder roared, and in the blink of an eye, it gathered from tens of thousands of miles in the starry sky. The sky was filled with lightning. The thunder echoed, shaking the heavens and earth. As Wang Lin moved forward, lightning bolts fell from the sky. The illusory figures were immediately destroyed one by one. Zhou Tian's eyes flashed, and with a quick hand seal, he pointed at his forehead. Black lines spread across his face, and he shouted, "Soul, kill." As soon as the words left his mouth, the black lines seemed to burst from his body, and a ring of black energy appeared on his head. It rapidly spread outwards, engulfing everything in its path. The speed of this spread was terrifyingly fast. In almost an instant, it was already right next to Wang Lin's body. Wang Lin didn't even try to dodge. Step by step, he walked forward, constantly closing in on Zhou Tian. When the black circle touched Wang Lin's body, it immediately transformed into countless fine threads that burrowed into Wang Lin. However, before they could go too deep, they were all immediately destroyed as soon as Wang Lin moved. Wang Lin's speed showed no signs of slowing down. He directly approached Zhou Tian and launched a punch. Zhou Tian's face changed, and as he retreated, he slapped his storage pouch, causing a purple orb to appear in his hand. Crushing it, the orb immediately emitted a purple glow that spread around him. But with the sounds of bang bang echoing, the purple light collapsed, and Zhou Tian's body retreated even faster. As he retreated, Wang Lin, with a single step, merged with the world's energy and reappeared right next to the retreating Zhou Tian. His right foot kicked out. The speed of this kick was overwhelming, creating a massive sound that seemed capable of shattering the starry sky. In the blink of an eye, it landed on Zhou Tian's body. With a loud bang, Zhou Tian's body immediately collapsed, turning into countless blood mist that quickly spread. However, within this void, a long laugh echoed, and immediately, a series of purple-red phantom figures shot out from the void, charging directly at Wang Lin. "This body, I, Zhou Tian, will take." The soft voice echoed as the purple-red phantoms frantically rushed into Wang Lin's body, heading straight for his primordial spirit. But just as these purple-red phantoms were about to reach Wang Lin's primordial spirit, his primordial spirit's eyes immediately opened. The ancient god leather armor surrounding it exuded an ancient aura, merging with the primordial spirit, creating an unimaginable force of repulsion. As the purple-red phantoms entered his primordial spirit, they were immediately struck by this backlash force. Screams of pain rang out as the phantoms, as if encountering their natural enemy, quickly retreated, desperately trying to escape Wang Lin's body. But just as they were about to break free, Wang Lin's primordial spirit arrived. The primordial spirit of the ancient thunder dragon opened its mouth wide and sucked in the phantoms that couldn't escape. With painful shrieks, the phantoms were devoured by Wang Lin. At this moment, Wang Lin's body was surrounded by purple mist. Strands of purple-red energy rapidly shot out, forming illusory human figures at a distance of several dozen meters. "I'll use you to test the power of my divine abilities," Wang Lin said calmly as he made a hand seal with his right hand. "Scatter beams to form soldiers." A portion of his immortal essence circulated through his body, eventually converging in his right hand and transforming into a golden light. When Wang Lin tossed it, the golden light scattered across the sky like countless golden beans. In an instant, the entire starry sky seemed to tremble, and the golden light instantly morphed into numerous illusory figures. For the first time, Wang Lin unleashed the scatter beams to form soldiers technique. Each of these illusory figures represented someone Wang Lin had killed, their souls not entering the cycle of reincarnation but instead being trapped in the 18 layers of hell. Now manifested, an overwhelming aura of resentment flooded the heavens and earth. Every soul that Wang Lin had killed carried an intense desire for vengeance. Zhou Tian looked at all of this, his mind greatly shaken, his eyes filled with shock. Although the majority of these illusory figures posed no threat to Zhou Tian, there were still a few that made him gasp in awe. One figure, with a gloomy expression and surrounded by black mist, radiated intense resentment. The person exuded a powerful fluctuation, a glimpse of Nirvana cultivator. Zhou Tian's expression darkened as he took in the scene. Around them, the souls of over 100 immortals drifted, their combined immortal energy and resentment forming an overwhelming killing intent that filled the surroundings. Upon seeing these immortal souls, Zhou Tian's eyes widened in disbelief, and he muttered, These are immortal souls." Having spent his life studying the soul path, he immediately recognized them. There were also souls from the Yao clan, exuding an intense killing intent. What kind of spell or divine ability is this? It's terrifying. It's actually trapped so many souls, preventing them from entering the cycle of reincarnation. This technique is clearly a demonic path method. Zhou Tian's mind was in turmoil as his shock reached its peak, and he was filled with fear. However, what truly sent his soul into a panic was yet to come. Suddenly, from within the countless illusory figures, a roar resembling that of a beast echoed. At this roar, all the illusory figures seemed to be filled with fear and quickly parted, creating a path. A red mist surged forward, crashing through everything in its way. None of the illusory figures dared to block its path. Within the swirling red mist, a figure emerged. This person appeared to be middle-aged, with red hair and a vicious expression. A murderous aura emanated from him that was beyond description, as if he could reverse the entire starry sky with his presence. The instant the red-haired figure appeared, Zhou Tian froze, but only for a heartbeat. His eyes then widened with a horror and fear he had never felt before. Blood ancestor of Tian Star. Zhou Tian's scalp went numb. Without a second thought, he turned to retreat. In that moment, he let go of all killing intent towards Sumu, not because he didn't want to kill, but because he couldn't. Though he had reached the mid-glimpse of Nirvana stage, Sumu, in his eyes, was an enigma, utterly unfathomable. This very soul-based divine art revealed a terrifying truth to him. These souls had to be personally slain, and only then could a unique method imprison them for personal use. He recognized the blood ancestor at once. Shocked to the core, his heart filled with dread. The blood ancestor was a pure Nirvana cultivator, and even he was killed by Sumu. I'm completely outmatched. I must flee. Wang Lin pointed at Zhou Tian and said calmly, drag him into the 18 layers of hell. The moment the words left his mouth, deafening roars erupted. Most fearsome among them was the blood ancestor, who surged forth with overwhelming crimson mist, instantly drawing near to Zhou Tian. Zhou Tian turned pale and moved to flee, but hundreds of celestial beings and Yao clan members spread out to surround him from all directions, sealing off every possible escape, up, down, left, right, forward, and back. Beyond them, countless souls swirled in the air. Their soul-shattering howls echoed in waves, making Zhou Tian's eyes gleam with madness. A lifelong expert of the soul path, he let out a low shout, formed a hand seal, and pressed a finger to his chest. Instantly, his body collapsed, exploding into countless illusory shadows fleeing in every direction. Zhou Tian's mastery of the soul path was near perfection. He had completely refined his physical body away, even merging his essence spirit fully into his soul. Only by doing this could he perform the true techniques of soul killing, able to even ambush those stronger than himself if they weren't careful. Yet now, all he felt was bitter regret. He had intended to seize Wang Lin's body, but the ancient god leather armor within Wang Lin had rebounded on him, inflicting minor injuries. These wounds, insignificant on their own, had nevertheless left him unprepared for the ferocity of Wang Lin's essence spirit, which not only resisted him but outright devoured him. Forced to retreat from Wang Lin's body, just as he was preparing to unleash his divine art, he witnessed the terrifying soul technique now unfolding before his eyes. Panicked, Zhou Tian scattered into countless forms in a desperate attempt to escape. But the blood ancestor's soul let out a cruel laugh. The crimson mist surged, and together with the 100 celestial beings' souls and the souls of the Yao clan, charged forward. Agonized screams echoed as the blood ancestor's soul transformed into a savage ancient beast. Claws extended from his hands, snatching up the majority of Zhou Tian's fleeing illusions and dragging them into the mist. The surrounding celestial beings did the same. In the blink of an eye, not a single one of Zhou Tian's soul fragments managed to escape. Wang Lin raised his right hand and pointed to the sky. Above the swirling mass of souls, a massive vortex formed, pulling in soul after soul. All were absorbed, except for the blood ancestor. His eyes blazing red, he let out a furious roar and shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes flashed with killing intent. Clenching his right fist, he punched forward. With a deafening boom, the blood ancestor's essence spirit halted for just an instant. In that pause, Wang Lin's immortal essence surged within him, accelerating the vortex's pull. With an overwhelming force, it dragged the furious, unwilling soul of the blood ancestor into the vortex. Finally, the vortex in the starry sky slowly faded away, transforming into a crystalline light. Wang Lin opened his mouth and swallowed it whole. Within his essence spirit, in the 13th layer of the 18 layers of hell, a new soul appeared. Though this soul was only in the 13th layer, it occupied its peak. It was Zhou Tian. Having slain Zhou Tian, Wang Lin cast a casual glance at Xizi Feng, then turned away and continued forward. Pagoda Mountain followed behind him. Big-headed child, who had witnessed everything, was no longer surprised by such scenes. Reggie too followed without hesitation, keeping close to Wang Lin as they stepped into the distant starry sky. In silence, Xizi Feng also followed behind. As he walked, Wang Lin began to ponder. The battle between Luotian and the Alliance has reached its peak. I must achieve something significant to reassure Yen Lazy and to gain greater prestige among the Luotian cultivators. Only then, if I encounter people like Tian Yunzi or if Tuosan emerges from the ancient god ruins, will Yen Lazy be compelled to help? Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. He had made up his mind. Yet in his heart, he did not truly believe Luotian's offensive against the Alliance would succeed. After a moment more of contemplation, Wang Lin slapped his storage pouch. Unfolding the heavenly tiger banner and releasing the soaring tiger, Wang Lin's action was like unleashing his reputation across the Western Alliance region. As they advanced, soon after, sword lights howled from ahead. Two groups were locked in battle, and under the flashing light of magical artifacts, the Luotian side was clearly at a disadvantage, retreating steadily. On the other side, a murderous aura filled the air, and various divine abilities spread, with the battle continuing. In just a few breaths, one Luotian cultivator fell. The 7 or 8 Luotian cultivators, all of whom were injured and exhausted from the battle, looked at each other with hopelessness in their eyes. They were too wounded to escape. At that moment, a tiger's roar echoed from the distance. Along with it came a vast divine sense sweeping across, causing the Luotian cultivators to tremble. When they turned to look, their eyes were filled with indescribable joy. Thunder Immortal Sumu. It's the genuine Thunder Immortal Sumu. The Alliance cultivators, who had received some intelligence about Luotian from their elders, recognized the name. One elder, in particular, had seen Sumu's name in the reports. His expression changed, his eyes flashing with cold light. Without hesitation, he immediately retreated, shouting, "Sumu has reached the glimpse of Nirvana stage. We are no match for him. Retreat quickly." In another direction, 3 cultivators were locked in battle, with no clear victor. Looking closely, it was 2 Luotian cultivators against 1 Alliance cultivator. The Alliance cultivator was incredibly ruthless, fighting 2 opponents with ease. At that moment, another tiger's roar rang out from afar. One of the Luotian cultivators in the battle immediately turned his divine sense cautiously and was shaken. Sumu. Not only did he recognize Sumu, but he was also one of the individuals Wang Lin had saved in the Thunder Immortal realm. The Alliance cultivator, momentarily stunned, felt a faint sense of familiarity with the name Sumu. After a brief pause, his face changed drastically. His sect's intelligence had classified the Luotian cultivators into 7 ranks, with rank 1 being the weakest and rank 7 the strongest. He recalled that Sumu was ranked at the 5th level. Without a moment's thought, he immediately retreated. As Wang Lin moved forward, he encountered many cultivators. Upon seeing Wang Lin, especially the soaring tiger, the Luotian cultivators were immediately excited and quickly gathered around him. "Greetings, Thunder Immortal," echoed from the mouths of each Luotian cultivator who approached Wang Lin. In their eyes, Wang Lin was a beacon of hope in the midst of their confusion and despair. Before, the collapse of the western region had caused widespread panic among the Luotian cultivators. In the chaos, many had perished, and the survivors were quickly scattered. The appearance of Alliance cultivators only worsened their situation. But now, Wang Lin's heavenly tiger banner was like a beacon of stability in their hearts. The roars of the soaring tiger lifted the spirits of every Luotian cultivator who heard it. Wang Lin's attitude had shifted. If he encountered battles between both sides, he would immediately intervene. With one sweeping strike, more and more Luotian cultivators gathered around him. Together, they formed an incredibly powerful force. As they advanced, they no longer needed Wang Lin to strike. The Luotian cultivators gathered around him would rush out and annihilate their enemies. Gradually, more and more Luotian cultivators gathered around Wang Lin. They transformed into streams of sword light, racing forward like sharp blades, piercing into the heart of the Western Alliance region. In the Western Alliance, Wang Lin's cultivator group was not the only one. Other Thunder Immortal Palace emissaries, the 108 Immortals, and various cultivation families also moved forward in similar fashion. But among them, Wang Lin's group was the largest. As they continued, with each passing moment, the number of sword lights increased. Soon, hundreds of sword lights roared through the starry sky. The sound of these flying swords, combined with the soaring tiger's roars, echoed far and wide. Wang Lin's reputation rose rapidly, reaching unprecedented heights. Just as Wang Lin's group was about to enter the core of the Western Alliance, the starry sky suddenly trembled. Waves of energy spread out from the distance, carrying an overwhelming aura that made even the sword lights falter. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, and his divine sense spread. After scanning the area, even his composure was shaken. Thunderous booms reverberated as, in the distant starry sky, a towering ancient tree, 10,000 zhang tall and 1,000 zhang thick, was coming toward them. The violent howls of wind accompanied it, shaking the spirits of the cultivators, and the unimaginable impact it carried seemed to be headed straight for them. Around the towering ancient tree, countless Luotian cultivators densely packed the area, their numbers almost innumerable. The oppressive aura of murderous intent permeated the heavens and the starry sky. What shocked Wang Lin even more was the thick scent of blood emanating from the giant tree. Despite the great distance, he could clearly feel it. It was evident that along the way, countless individuals had perished under the impact of this giant tree. Wang Lin had never seen this tree before, but upon glancing at it now, he was immediately struck by a sense of indescribable awe. He understood clearly that even he, if struck by that massive tree, would be severely injured, and with the slightest misstep, physical and spiritual annihilation might occur. The only way to escape would be to merge with the world and flee quickly. While the sight of this giant tree caused Wang Lin's heart to tremble, it wasn't what left him stunned. What truly left him in awe was the creature behind it. The moon-gazing beast. The immense body of the moon-gazing beast resembled a cultivation star, its countless massive tentacles swaying. Its furious roars echoed across the heavens and earth, reverberating through the entire starry sky. At the moment Wang Lin saw the moon-gazing beast, his body trembled involuntarily. This tremor came from the ancient god's power. Fixated on the moon-gazing beast in the distance, Wang Lin's heart was deeply shaken. When I once escaped the pursuit of the Zhou family by hiding within the moon-gazing beast, I sensed that someone from Luotian had designs on it. Who could it be to expel the moon-gazing beast and treat it as a magical artifact to deliver to the Alliance? Could it be him? Wang Lin gasped, the image of two figures flashing in his mind. The first was during the battle between Qin Shui and the Blood God. The second was after sealing the 108 Immortals, tearing open 2 star domain passages. At that moment, the sound of the towering ancient tree grew louder, its impact wave spreading. The many cultivators behind Wang Lin immediately cheered, and almost as if on cue, they began flying forward. Wang Lin hesitated for only a moment before swiftly moving forward, charging toward the towering ancient tree. The tree was so vast that even from afar, it appeared enormous, but as he approached, he could feel the immense pressure emanating from it. Surrounding the tree, countless cultivators stood on various magical artifacts, flanking the tree on either side. A small group of cultivators stood atop the tree, but there were no more than 100 of them. At the forefront of this group stood the 2 venerable ancestors, Liunzi of the Zhang family and Patriarch Xingong. The 2 of them stood with their hands behind their backs at the head of the giant tree, their robes flowing without wind, eyes like lightning, their expressions cold as ice. Behind them stood other cultivators, the majority of whom were from the 108 Immortals. Some, whom Wang Lin had never seen before, emitted powerful fluctuations of primordial energy, indicating their cultivation at the peak of yang fulfillment. Among this group, more than 10 had reached the glimpse of nirvana stage. Apart from them, 3 individuals caught Wang Lin's attention. One was an old man seated to the right of the giant tree. Dressed in black robes, with white hair and several bizarre scars on his face that seemed to twitch and move, the sight of him made one gasp in surprise. As soon as Wang Lin's gaze fell on the old man seemed to sense it. His eyes gleamed sharply, and after locking eyes with Wang Lin, he gave a cold smile. Another individual who drew Wang Lin's attention was a woman. She was stunningly beautiful, her features as delicate as a peach blossom in spring, with the purity of a chrysanthemum in autumn. She appeared to be about 30 years old, her eyes bright and full of life, her brows and nose well-defined. A slight dimple appeared on her cheeks, and her skin was as pale as snow. Her gaze had a hint of ocean blue in it, like the vast sea. She stood atop the giant tree, wearing a pale green palace gown adorned with floral patterns. A golden veil draped over her, and purple embroidery decorated the wide skirt. Her long hair, a beautiful shade of blue, was loosely tied, with a small red gemstone adorning her forehead, perfectly placed. Her beauty was ethereal, like the first light of dawn. The speed of the giant tree stirred the air, causing her veil to gently billow, giving her the appearance of a fairy. Noticing Wang Lin's gaze, the woman smiled gracefully, but her smile carried an air of nobility and untouchable elegance. The last person who caught Wang Lin's attention was a young man. He wore a satin white robe, with 3 bamboo flutes hovering around him, producing strange flute sounds. The sound seemed almost tangible, creating an illusory aura around him, one that could make anyone who gazed at it lose their sense of direction. The young man didn't even glance at Wang Lin, sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed, exuding an air of arrogance. The reason these 3 individuals stood out to Wang Lin was due to their cultivation levels, which he could not fathom. Wang Lin observed the person on the giant tree while countless cultivators also turned their gaze toward him. With his fame in the Luotian, these people only needed to take a glance to immediately recognize his identity. Not to mention the roar of the flying tiger behind him, which spread far and wide. Along the way, they had seen a few Luotian teams, but they were only a handful of people, scattered and looking rather disheveled. At this moment, Wang Lin had gathered a group of cultivators numbering in the hundreds. This sight made every cultivator outside the giant tree turn their eyes toward Wang Lin. Clearly, the reason so many cultivators were here was due to the presence of Sumu. Thunder Immortal Sumu. He is Sumu, who crushed all opponents in the Immortal Ascension War. Even Su Ting from Donglin Star had to bow down before him, and in the end, Sumu was granted the official Thunder Immortal title. The question is whether Sumu has the qualifications to step onto the giant tree. In that moment, all eyes gathered on Wang Lin. Many of these cultivators had never met Wang Lin in person, and their impression of him was solely based on the transmissions they had seen on their family's cultivation starstones during the Immortal Ascension War. Under the attention of thousands, Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged, calm and composed. "Sumu, come to me." Lai Yunzi, having noticed Wang Lin, had his cold expression soften into a smile. Wang Lin nodded and, with a flicker of his body, headed straight for the giant tree. The howling winds caused by the tree's impact created great resistance, making Wang Lin's figure seem as if it were struggling between clouds and mud. After sensing this, Wang Lin's expression remained the same as he slowed down the circulation of his primordial energy, almost to a halt. But in the next moment, he unleashed a furious burst of power, and in the blink of an eye, his energy surged to its peak. This fluctuation between stillness and motion immediately erupted a strong momentum from Wang Lin, causing the starry sky around him to tremble with a thunderous roar, as though it was about to collapse. Boom! As the violent sound echoed, a distortion suddenly appeared around Wang Lin's body. The gazes that had been focused on him immediately shattered and dispersed. Wang Lin remained composed, walking forward without hindrance. Without any further obstruction, Wang Lin approached the roaring giant tree and stepped onto it. In that instant, every cultivator outside the giant tree focused their gaze on him. Although they knew of his power, seeing it in person still shocked them. Wang Lin didn't know that stepping onto the giant tree represented a highly prestigious status in this place. Along the way, anyone who thought they were qualified could attempt to step onto the tree. However, only a few could actually manage it. Even among the nearly 100 cultivators on the tree, the vast majority had used magical artifacts and mighty divine abilities to barely reach it. Even so, no one dared to belittle those who could stand on the tree. Those who made it were undoubtedly powerful. At this moment, the shock in the hearts of the over 10,000 cultivators surrounding them surged, especially as Wang Lin stepped onto the tree with ease. His calmness without a trace of difficulty set him apart. Of all they had seen on this journey, only Lai Yunzi and Patriarch Shengong, aside from 3 others, could step onto the tree so effortlessly. Wang Lin was the 4th. Thunder Immortal Sumu truly lives up to his name. Such thoughts filled the hearts of the cultivators around him. The 100 cultivators on the giant tree all turned their eyes to Wang Lin as soon as he stepped on. Their gazes were varied. Some had participated in the Immortal Ascension War and held deep respect for Wang Lin. Others, though they had never met him, were now completely stunned and had a clear understanding of his strength. Among them, a young man in white with 3 bamboo flutes orbiting him suddenly opened his eyes and carefully studied Wang Lin. After a slight nod, he said nothing. The woman in palace attire smiled even brighter. As for the elderly man in black, the look he gave Wang Lin carried a trace of something different. The 3 of them were highly skilled, having reached the late glimpse of Nirvana stage, and their perceptiveness was far above others. They immediately recognized that Wang Lin's actions were extraordinary. Between his moments of stillness and motion, he not only unleashed primordial energy but also revealed a deep understanding of the rules. The 3 of them clearly saw this and began to regard Wang Lin with greater importance. Though they knew his cultivation was not yet as advanced as theirs, they now saw him as a peer. After all, among glimpses of Nirvana cultivators, few could actively comprehend the rules. In the cultivation world, power is everything, and to earn others' recognition, one must reach the same level. Standing next to Lai Yunzi, Wang Lin respectfully cupped his fists and said, "Sumu greets Senior Lai Yunzi." With that, Wang Lin turned to Patriarch Shengong and also cupped his fist in greeting. Lai Yunzi smiled faintly, about to speak, when his expression suddenly changed. He turned to see the moon-gazing beast, which had been trailing behind the towering ancient tree with its countless writhing tendrils, suddenly shudder. It seemed to go into a frenzy, letting out a wild, violent roar. Its eyes alternated between confusion and clarity as it fixed its gaze on Wang Lin, who stood atop the towering tree. The beast's roar grew louder, nearly a growl, and the sonic boom of its cry rippled through the starry sky. The cultivators outside the tree were caught in the shockwave, their faces paling as their minds were shaken to the core. Wang Lin turned around, coldly glancing at the moon-gazing beast. It recognizing him was not unexpected. Wang Lin understood this creature well. What made it angry left the deepest impression on it. And Wang Lin had clearly provoked this beast twice, so it naturally held a strong memory of him. In its fury, the moon-gazing beast was about to charge. Its tendrils, thrashing wildly, extended toward the giant tree. Lai Yunzi furrowed his brow, raised his right hand, and with a flick, the air in front of him split open. A crack appeared, and from within it flew out a green jade slip. The jade slip seemed ordinary, with no remarkable features. After Lai Yunzi caught it, he tossed it toward the moon-gazing beast. The speed of the jade slip was so swift that in an instant, it was nearly upon the beast. With a thunderous crash, the jade slip shattered as it made contact. But in that instant of destruction, a voice like a thunderclap reverberated through the air. "Sunyan Gu." The voice was strange and complicated, impossible for the surrounding cultivators to comprehend. Only Wang Lin's heart trembled at the sound. This was the ancient god tongue, and when he understood the meaning behind it, even Wang Lin, with his mental fortitude, could not help but change expression.